Welcome to Whisky.com, where fine spirits meet. My name is Lüning, Horst Lüning. This is my son Ben, and today we have an American whiskey, a Kentucky straight bourbon with an age of 10 years, Eagle Rare.
Yeah, very, very interesting whiskeys. 10 years, an age statement whiskeys with the American whiskeys is actually pretty rare. There are only a few distilleries that actually do age statement whiskeys. And today we have one of the Buffalo Trace distilleries. I've visited them in 2015.
And 1998.
You were 1998?
Or 1999.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And very interesting distillery. If you happen to come to Kentucky in the region of Frankfurt, then you should visit it. It's a huge campus. It's one of the biggest, or probably the biggest, distillery in the world.
They're running golf carts there.
Yeah, they're running golf carts there. So the one that you can visit, you can actually go around the campus and go to the warehouses. And it just takes you a few minutes. You have to go uphill, and it's very, very far away. So we took a golf cart there. Buffalo Trace is really interesting. They have some quite unique features to them. First of all, they did a lot of experiments in their warehouses. Like they sealed off in a warehouse and had it completely dark, and then had different sections in the warehouse where they shined light on the casks, and then you could see how the light affects the maturation in the cask. I think they
did the cooling and
temperature, something like that. So they parameterized
probably
something. Yeah, they took one parameter and varied it. So it did a parameter variation, and it's very interesting how you see then the whiskey is how the whiskey is maturing. And what they also do at Buffalo Trace is they have a strange way of doing their mash bill. Usually you have your what do you call it, your boiler. You put in the corn and then you boil it, or you put
in pressure. Yes.
No, you put in the malt first. I'm not sure, but you put in one, then you pressure it, cook it, put in the other, pressurize, cook it, and you put in the last one.
Typically, you do the malt first, because this one does not need that high temperatures. And then after the enzymes from the malt had worked, then you put high pressure in it, higher temperature, and then you break up the other starch down to sugars.
Something like that. And the people from Buffalo Trace, they say, no, we don't do that. They actually have many boilers and many kettles and different sizes, and they do have the mashing done separately, so that afterwards they mix it and then they go to the fermentation. And I think they have one of the biggest fermenters in the industry as well. So it's something like 140,000 liters or something like that. It's huge.
The Buffalo Trace distillery was formerly known as Ancient Age. And there they had mass-produced whiskies with not that high standards. There was an Ancient Age and an Ancient Age. And there had been a better one, a 10-year-old, probably one of the predecessors of this one. And then they changed the name to the Frankfurt Distillery, and after that they went to Buffalo Trace because there had been an old Buffalo Trace through the area where the distillery lies in the Kentucky River bow in there. Well, and it changed over the years a lot, and with the Buffalo Trace Kentucky straight bourbon, the quality of the whiskey increased a lot. And then they had this spin-off, and the Eagle Rare is a very American whiskey. They write it, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, the cornerstones of the birth of a nation, epitomized by the American bald eagle. Therefore, it's the Eagle Rare. Here you see with this printing on this wonderful, big, heavy bottle with this thick glass bottom. So it's really a good present for...
For an American.
For an American, or for
someone who loves America.
Or the national celebration days. That nation has come to present the freedom, blah, 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 blah. By practice and protected by law, no other distilled spirit adheres to standards as strict as those established for Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. It is not colored. It's forbidden to color. Few other whiskeys can offer even a glimpse of the great whiskey making found in Eagle Rare. Eagle Rare 10 years has a sweet, oaky nose and full complex body, generous sense of a fine port wine. this rare whiskey is best served neat. We will do that. It's 45% ABV. Or over ice.
No, we don't do that.
Of course, feel free to drink Eagle Rare in such classic cocktails as the Manhattan or Whiskey Sour, and you can drink it as you like, through the nose, through the ears, as long as you buy them.
Yeah.
Oops.
Buffalo Trace is a really American distillery. If you visit it, they have a huge car park, and they have visitor centers. And what I found really puzzling with these American whiskey distilleries is they're a bit traditional. So you do have the traditions of filling, and also the wrecked warehouses are really traditionally old. It's all made of wood, nothing of steel or something like that. And you always, when you go around the campus, you see at some point you see casks rolling, and always
On rails, huh?
On rails, yeah. So I'm always like, isn't this kind of dangerous? I mean, America is like the land of safety. It has a safety sticker on everything, and everything has to be safe. And
Watch your step.
Watch your step. But these caskets are rolling around. Probably I didn't see that big warning sign that says, "Oh, you don't get in the way of the casks. Always make sure something."
Warning
blah, blah.
sign, blindness.
Probably it's like, we have the warning sign that legally is everything we need to do.
So first is a lot of vanilla, and then caramel in the back. So this is a definite a bourbon as it should be, very, very full. And then in the back there is a fruity note appearing, a light fruity note, probably remembering from sherries. So lighter ones, and then again vanilla and fudge, and in the back there's the oak rising with a little spiciness, and it's full. It's for a bourbon. It's 10 years, so it's a lot for a bourbon. And bourbon always means fresh casks, so there's the full taste of a cask in this whiskey.
Yeah, it's a really nice bourbon and exceptionally intense. You do get the normal smell from bourbon, vanilla, caramel, a bit of popcorn, but it's all a bit deeper and mixed in with a bit of a oaky note and some complex other aromas, like you mentioned, spiciness. It's a wonderfully intense, dark, balanced whiskey. It's nice.
Yeah. Have a sip. The 45% ABV, 90 proof, US proof, is not too much. It's not too few. It's just the right strength to give you the full transport on your tongue. It's mouth-filling, it's mouth-watering, and after swallowing, there's a welcoming spiciness, but no bitterness at all. A little bit drier on the tongue, and full rewarding.
It's definitely intense. When you have it in your mouth, you have a bit of a fruitiness. Of course, you have a lot of sweetness, vanilla, and that kind of stuff going on. When you swallow it, I do realize the deep tones, and that there's a real journey of oakiness, and with a bit of I now do have a bit of a coffee cacao note going on. It's a really intense whiskey. It's interesting. Usually if you have a bourbon whiskey, it's just 3 years, 5 years, 6 years. So it's light, easy drinking. This one is more, you have it in your mouth. It's there. It's there. It says,
Full,
oh
long
yeah, I'm here.
aftertaste.
A long aftertaste. So if you like the bourbon, would you like to have more kick into it? Probably the Eagle Rare is right for you.
So I have no idea how big the batch is from this one. There are other batches out there, because this one here is just for us, filled for us. And the Eagle Rare 10 years of age is, I think, widely available. It's not that rare because they look after their stocks, that they do not run out of it. The 17-year-old, the older one, is from time to time, it's off. So it's out of stock. But the 10 years of age, my personal feeling, never ran out of stock. There had been an Eagle Rare without an age statement, if I remember right. And that might have been the time where the 10-year-old hadn't been, that much of availability, showed that much of availability, so that they reduced the age statement in that. But since a few years, the 10-year-old is on the market again. Yeah. A wonderful piece of work.
Wonderful piece of work. Yeah, it's a nice distillery. So thank you very much for watching. If you found this video interesting, then please feel free to share it with your friends. Stay subscribed and see you next time.